Missional Community here at the Brook is pretty much comprised of three elements, three basic building blocks, if you will. And if you remove one of them, the whole thing crumbles. And the first element is communion. Now, when we say the word communion, traditionally we think of the actual Lord's Supper, of the bread and the wine. But communion in this sense is putting God on His rightful throne. So it's a sense of worship and song. It may be worship and prayer, studying Scripture. That's the communion we're talking about. Worship, and it falls with our worship, grow, serve together. This is the worship part of the element. The second element is the element of community. This is our doing life together. This is sharing food, sharing friends, sharing fun. It's going with your neighbors to get frozen yogurt. It's having a cookout in your backyard. It's inviting your friends over to play cornhole or some sort of ladder toss. It's just doing life together, the fun stuff.
It's actually pretty simple. I think of it being part of my regular day, and then how, while I'm in my rhythm of my regular day, how I can reach out to the community, both reaching out into the community and then inviting the community into me. And it's not hard, it's just intentional. You have to be conscious of it. You have to be aware of opportunities as you go about your life. And once that starts happening, the opportunities really start popping up. And they come up often. My husband Ed and I started the Peterson Life Group a year ago, and now we're considered a pilot program for the missional communities in the church. And one of the things that we started doing, it started out just as a Peterson family thing. We wanted to just to get a treat once a week, and we went to one of the local yogurt places. When the whole missional community idea came up in the church, we were thinking of ways to incorporate that in our own lives and in our small group life. And we thought, well, why are we just restricting it just to the Peterson family? Let's just open it up. So we opened it up to the other members of our group. And our group likes to call themselves the Island of Misfit Toys. So everybody's welcome. And we opened it up to the life group. And then from there, the natural thought was, well, why aren't we opening it up to other people that we know that either at the church, not at the church, friends, acquaintances. So it's an open invitation. We just have fellowship. We talk about what happened during that week. We talk about the sermon. We talk about sports scores that might come on. It's very natural. It's very fluid. The idea of inviting others into your daily rhythm of your life, and when, as a group, we do it, we just bring more and more people into that idea.
The third element of missional community is mission. And mission is simply blessing one another. We are blessed to be a blessing. God sent Abraham out to say, go and to this land that I will tell you, and those you bless, I will bless. So we are meant to be a blessing. We are meant to be sent out. And part of that blessing is words, gifts, or acts of service. It's simple as walking across the street and offering to mow your neighbor's lawn. It could be baking brownies to take to your neighborhood. Just simple, tangible things that we can do to get our foot in the door, so to speak. Not a bait and switch, but to build the relationship. Because after all, our mission is to make disciples. And in order to make disciples, we have to build relationships first.
A great opportunity I've had recently for missional communities in my life is the interaction with the mommies of the preschool that my daughter goes to. My daughter goes to an international preschool, and we have all kinds of mommies there. Okay, so the thing we have in common is that we're all mommies of little ones, and we're all looking for ways to connect and talk about our kids and to get some relief as being full-time parents during the day. And in this school, we have non-practicing Christians, we have practicing Hindus, we have non-practicing non-practitioners of anything. And as we get together with play dates and so forth, I don't necessarily try to work them in as projects in my life, but I just bring up the Lord and I bring up Christ in very tangible ways that are relevant to the conversations that we're having at the time. We were talking about children, and I said, you know, one of the greatest things I learned about having children is finally understanding God's unconditional love for me. Because I didn't understand that until I had my child and had unconditional love for my child. And that resonated. I just really try to reach out if I see a mommy that looks like they might be struggling, just offering assistance, whatever it might be, free babysitting, a meal, a chat, a listen. and being very, very intentional in my care and concern for her and her child. And I'm hoping that radiates, as well as showing Christ's love